On the podcast, my near-death experience. I'm back, but boy, it feels like only just. Also, why Jacinda Ardern should turn up in person to the COVID inquiry. And Christine Rankin, Taupō councillor, on the council's new deal with the local iwi, why she's furious about what's going on. So let's go.
Are we paying these people to front up, or are we paying them to fly to Wellington to eat their lunch? Should you really lose your career for refusing to take part in a 90-minute lesson about Māori culture? This government doesn't actually have any idea how to get economic growth. Show us what you made of, Prime Minister.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan, Garner.
Okay, g'day, welcome to the podcast. I'm Duncan, Garner, and good evening, and please subscribe. Helps us stay around. Yes, talking about staying around, I've been away for a week or so, and it's been serious. I think I went close to dying. Nice to see you, Isaac. May I've never seen you again, so yeah.
No, I know, man.
What were you told?
I haven't been told much at all, to be honest. I kind of got told on Wednesday last week that you were in hospital, and that's pretty much it until today, really.
Yeah, mate. I had a really, really bad cellulitis attack, which is infection poison up my leg. It was heading towards my groin, and I had 2 days where I was shivering, and I did a podcast on that Tuesday, and it's such a wake-up call, mate. You know, we think we're bulletproof, eh?
No, totally. Yeah.
You know.
How long were you in hospital?
I got discharged Friday, and then they gave me in-home care for 4 days. And so, but I've been away 9 days. I was in hospital for 5 days. Cellulitis. It's not the first time, but if ever I felt close to death, or close to death moment, this was it, you know? This was the one. So last Monday, I slept 17 hours at night, 4:30 in the afternoon. I ignored all the warning signs, just shivering, went to bed. Then I left here last Tuesday lunchtime. I've been shivering, hot, cold. Remember, I just couldn't wait to get out. I just sort of wasn't that personable. I took myself to the doctor last Tuesday late afternoon, which for me is rare, because I knew something wasn't right. 2 hour wait, they saw the urgency once they finally triaged me. My blood pressure collapsed, my heart was racing, my leg was dark red, I ignored all the signs. They told me to go to hospital. They said, if you're my brother, she said, I would take you. But I wasn't your brother. So I went to the hospital, got Mum to drop me to the hospital. They checked me in, managed my infection with this heavy drugs. I've been out to lunch. Not good drugs, not recreational drugs. This is a smack of the head stuff. I couldn't move. I just thought this is the deathbed. So I've been home for a few days, getting well. Mum from the outset, my mum's been superhuman, so I need to acknowledge that. I mean, her father, my grandfather, died in his early 50s. He was a short, fat, red guy he was an auctioneer of fruit and veggies, turners and growers, worked himself to a standstill, died of a heart attack. So I guess she's trying to stop me repeating this. So Mum, thank you for your utter dedication and getting me right. Without you, I wouldn't be here. I need to get healthier. Got to put myself first, throw myself at this job and this podcast and finding what works and what doesn't. And in this cruel, nasty fight to stay alive in this industry, Isaac, you know, it's few revenues, few staff, AI's coming at us. Digital's changed the game. Audiences out there somewhere. It's a bun fight. I'm a journo, that's all I've ever done. So I'm sort of in this tornado that's circling and all the bodies are flying off, and we're trying to stay within that circling tornado. So that means I've put my personal well-being second, ignored all the warning signs. It's hard, right? You know, I get story leads every day and suggestions from wonderful eyes and ears of all of you around the country. It's sort of, you know, it's me left following it, investigating it, working out, putting it to where I could work 24/7, and sometimes I do. So I've just hit the wall, you know, and that's why I ended up in hospital. So it's clear to come at a price. I need better balance. Thank you for your messages of support. But I reckon the train's got to go on. We'll have a chat to Christine Rankin shortly. Isaac, thanks for your love and support, brother. You haven't got rid of me yet. Let's go.
It's the Slam Dunk.
So for what it's worth, I reckon former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern should get back to New Zealand and front this COVID inquiry in person. It's the least she can do. And it would show a certain respect to all New Zealanders who, one way or another, and especially those in lockdown in Auckland and that latter part of it, were affected greatly. It was simply too big an event, and she was the chief making the decisions for her to turn away and send us some glib written submission or refer us to her take on the events from an earlier testimony or some video. No way. We've suffered far too much. We've been through too much to simply allow her to get away with that. We want accountability. I want to personally see her arrive back in New Zealand and face the questions. She wielded so much power for so long. To get away with some glib email or pre-done video response, no thanks. Ardern has no problem appearing on networks all over the world in the studio. She's been on countless interview shows with the biggest names in the business, all carefully choreographed in front of adoring audiences. North America, Central America, right the way through Europe into Africa. She has travelled everywhere telling her story in her version, her way. Why can't she return to New Zealand where it all happened to tell her story in front of the inquiry, to answer the many questions this inquiry has? It's simply not good enough to send us letter from Virginia. Stick your letter from Virginia or pre-tape video from Washington. She must return. Sitting in studios around the world answering soft-cock questions from big superstar hosts miles away from where it all happened has only made her star rise overseas. Then she launched her new book to another round of global adoring interviews. It's all carefully stage managed. And Penguin, the publisher of the book, is rumoured to have paid Ardern an advance of, wait for this, $1.5 million. I know. Isaac's thinking he could retire in Christchurch on this. 1.5 million, meaning the book will need to sell about 140,000 copies globally to break even. How do you do that? Well, you go out there and you sell yourself in all these international shows. See, it's not brain surgery. Publishing experts believe it's possible that she will sell that many, particularly with the Australian rights in play and the high-profile North American book tour scheduled. All of this is helped by appearing on these soft morning international talk shows, but what about accountability here at home? What about facing up to the people here what should happen to? She should do the right thing and appear in person. Nothing less is good enough. She needs to not just say she'll answer questions, she needs to do the right thing and get home in front of the chair of accountability, the chair of truth, and answer the questions. She owes it to the team of 4 or 5 million, whatever it was. She's not going to walk away from the team now, is she? That wouldn't be doing the right thing.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.
Okay, so what's going on in Taupo? With this joint agreement with local iwi Tūwharetoa, the deal's been done behind closed doors and significantly increases the powers and rights of the local iwi about what happens locally on resource consents, power sharing. It's all been happening behind closed doors in secrecy. Christine Rankin is a local councillor who's been busting a gut to speak out on this, and tonight she does for the first time. Christine, g'day and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Duncan. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you on for a week or so. Not your bad, my bad, because I've been a bit ill. But anyway, we're here now. And your region, I'm getting so much feedback from local people, Christine. They are really worried what's going on behind the scenes with this joint management agreement with Ngāti Tūwharetoa, all in private, all in secret. What's going on?
Look, it's been a real problem for all of us in terms of just grasping the gravity of it. It's gone on for a long time. I mean, we started working on it last September, not actually understanding how far this was going to go. You know, we had a vote at a council meeting to look at what would be a sensible way to manage the legislative requirements. And since then, it's sort of been low-key. You know, nobody picked up on the fact that it was going to be more than the Rivers Act legislation allows, and it does require us to do some things, but they're very basic. And we've been doing them anyway, and it's been going just fine. But now it's got a massive extension on it. And for some reason, it's been minimised. You know, whenever we've talked about it, several of us have had concerns, but it's like, oh no, don't be silly. You know, there's not going to be any problem with this. The potential problems are huge. And one of the underlying fundamentals for us is that when there's anything significant, we consult our community. And I have to say, we consult usually very well. Why this would be denied as an item to be consulted on is absolutely bursting my brain at the moment. Of course,
well, it extends powers. Does this extend powers to the iwi? Does it extend their rights and powers and values and everything over more tributaries, more rivers and more land? Of course it does, in quite a big way.
Yes, it does. Absolutely it does. And look, while that could be quite straightforward and nothing happen, it could be massive. And what we've been told is it won't really cost any extra staff time, so therefore it won't cost any money. The staff will control what goes to the trust board. No, everything will go to the trust board. And if you were the trust board, wouldn't you want to be involved in everything if you were given this power by somebody?
Yeah,
I mean,
but there's a committee.
There's
an idea for a committee in this new extension that has 50% iwi representatives unelected and 50% elected reps. Now, that looks like a new secret committee, and that doesn't have any financial accountability to it. There's almost no public awareness of this.
No, and look, it doesn't mean people couldn't ask and find the details, but
sure.
No, it is done aside from everything else, from everything that's been presented to me that I can see. It is going to cost money, and we're trying desperately to keep all spending down at the moment. I just don't understand how blasé. That's how it feels to me, as though nothing to see here. Just be quiet. Let's get on with it. Look, there's a new council coming in.
So worrying.
This new council has the right to make this decision, in my opinion. And the people of Taupo deserve to be consulted on this. They should have their say. There are no rights beyond that, as far as I can see. And can I just clarify, Tūwharetoa do not allow us to swim in the lake. We get to recreate on the lake as part of the agreement with Tūwharetoa some time ago when they got their settlement. Of course, the government guaranteed that anyone can recreate in the lake. They don't give us permission to pull our trucks out of the lake. If a truck crashes in the lake, for goodness sake, the regional council, not us, comes and pulls it out. All of this information made me really worried that people think that Tūwharetoa can take away our right to swim in the lake. They wouldn't, and they can't.
No, and they've never shown any potential to even stop ordinary people going about their daily business. But they do have a commercial link to the lake, and that goes all the way back to, of course, being gifted the lake bed and the air above it and everything. But that's long established, and if you have a problem with that, go and see Jim Bolger.
Absolutely.
But no one, and I'm not going to scaremonger here and say, you can't swim. But what this new agreement could do and extends, I think it extends powers so far wide that you just don't know what it might mean in 10 years.
Well, what it is joint management. And if you look at co-governance and joint management, co-governance is supposed to be strategic. Governance is strategic. So it's looking at the big picture.
Sure.
Co-management is day-to-day functions. And that is a lot more involved than co-governance. And the world went nuts about co-governance. And the government's telling us really clearly, stop it. They caused this. The government caused this. They gave iwi rights when they made settlements. And why wouldn't iwi take advantage of that? I absolutely get it. But we can't do this quietly. This is wrong. As far as I'm concerned, it's wrong. And I know some of my other colleagues feel that. Some do not think there's anything wrong with it at all. I don't know where we're going to end up, but I could never agree to this.
And good on you, and good on you for having a backbone. Because and what's worse in all this, Christine, is now when something's done in secret, when something's done behind closed doors, and when you invite the public to a workshop and then tell them at the start, not you, of course, tell them at the start they can get some questions later, and then they're shut down. I tell you what, I would have set up anarchy on the floor. I would have locked the doors from the inside and not let you out. It is outrageous that the public is being shut out of this process.
And the way that they get involved in the process is for us to go through formal consultation. And look, that is thorough. In Taupo, I've been proud of how we consult. Yep. But this has been completely left out because this has been minimised as nothing to see here, nothing to look at, nothing to worry about. And look, there's a lot of nastiness. I don't go online often, but there's a hell of a lot of things being said on both sides. This is not making things better. This is making things ugly.
Yeah, I think we agreed, you and I, maybe 25 years ago, stay offline. There's nothing, positive about what you've been through. What you've been through, and I mean, and you have been through the ring. So you know the signs of the public debate and how things get nasty. This one hasn't even yet started to pick up scale, because the public in Taupo was only just realising it. The interview I had with the mayor here, I asked for your take on that, but there's more people that have watched that live in the actual region. There's a lot of interest in this. And just your take on the mayor's interview that we had a couple of weeks ago. What do you think? I thought it was terrible.
I don't think David prepared well for it. That's all I can assume. He's very conversational, and I think he thought he was having a conversation with you, and it just got out of control. And, I was very worried when it looked as though the old white people at the back of the room were just racist. They're ratepayers, and no matter who they are. And look, I have had calls and emails by the hundreds from people everywhere across this district. And the people in the back of the room can be anybody that they want to be, and they have a right to a view, and it doesn't make them racist because they want to know and they want to have a say on something. It was a shame.
They're stakeholders. They're the other side of the treaty. They are the partnership.
There are,
why are we no longer the partnership? Why do we have no view but Māori allowed all the view? Why do we just have to shut up?
We are not treaty partners. The government is the treaty partner. We try to have a really good relationship with Tūwharetoa, but I watched something on the radio station last night where someone I really respect was being interviewed, and apparently our deputy mayor had said that we're joined at the hip, council in Tūwharetoa, and he said, no, we're not. I'm no one's Siamese twin. And I thought, holy hell, I don't know where the joined at the hip comment came from, but that's not positive. That's not healthy relationship.
What is it like working alongside Tūwharetoa?
Well, look, I don't work alongside them day by day. The council staff do, and it seems to go pretty well. There is certainly never any complaint that I hear about. I think that, we're in their building. We rent their beautiful new building, for example. The relationship seems to be good. The issue is when there is extra power bestowed that is not required by law, you don't know what's going to happen with that relationship. If I give you power today, Duncan, to do something, anything, a lot of things, aren't you going to take advantage of that at some time, which will cost a lot, slow everything down? They might not do it, but we've got to debate this openly and honestly, don't we?
Of course we do. And when Jim Bolger gave the lake bed back to the iwi and said, look, this is rightfully yours, at the time they said there's no big deal, won't mean anything. Well, it's gone on to mean, and it's all been accepted, that the commercial users of the lake pay a fee. Now, I've had launch users, business users email me saying they spend $30,000 a year in fees to the iwi. I've had people say they've been blocked from going and filming down the river on certain projects and things. So you can say it doesn't mean anything, but in practice, these things always do.
They do.
When it's undefined and ill-defined and up for interpretation perhaps by the iwi in maybe 10 years' time, that's a time to genuinely have genuine concerns. It's not racism. It's called genuinely concerned New Zealander. Absolutely,
Duncan. And at the moment, there is one group of people in the council and one group of people on the Tūwharetoa board, although the new regulations give them the right to consult all hapu and all other iwi that might be affected. So you can imagine the time that would take. But we are two sets of people at the moment. There could be a dramatically different council in just a few months. The trust board, the Tūwharetoa trust board could change. That could change a dynamic that if you've given extra powers would cause mayhem, and none of us know, and none of us have had a chance to talk about it publicly. That has got to be fixed, in my opinion. I might not win this. The councillors who want this may not win, and that will be very sad for democracy in Taupo.
It's appallingly undemocratic, is the kindest way I can say it. Otherwise, it's deliberately undemocratic, which is just terrible.
But haven't you heard people say with the previous government, the democracy that you and I know and that our forefathers died for no longer exists because of the treaty? And I don't believe that. Nobody has asked me whether I agree with that. Nobody's asked New Zealanders whether they agree with that. There are groups of people assuming and asserting that, and we seem to go along with it.
The treaty has been commercialised. It has been, it's now been awoken. It's been commercialised, and it's now the consulting document on everything we seem to do. And the Ardernification, the Jacinda years, and the Three Waters approach may have been cancelled at a government level, but everything else has just been pushed into local government level, and it's on your desk. And so all this stuff now has been pushed onto the desks of local councillors and staff. Now, staff are running around at local council almost do-gooderish, doing all the right things by iwi, forgetting that they have to talk to the public, and that's your job because you're accountable.
Absolutely. And look, I do want to say that usually they do that very, very well. I just don't understand why it's not being done in this case.
It is unbelievable. It's like a dumb moment, isn't it?
I don't get it, and I don't agree with it. And
so will this go on hold?
To speak out again about it, it feels, you know me, I always say what I think, and I'm pretty courageous, I'm pretty strong, but there's a lot of pressure. I feel a lot of pressure to play it down, not play it up, and I can't do that. I just can't do it.
So they would prefer you to shut up, say nothing, be part of this council team that pushes this through and da-da-da-da-da. So in many ways, they're asking you to be dishonest.
Yeah, and look, I don't even know if it's specifically asking. I just feel that. No one said that to me, but I know that nobody wants to offend anybody. And I have to say, I really regard the Taupo staff highly, and I've stood up for them a lot of times. And I guess you feel you're in a position where you're putting them down, and that's not where I'm coming from at all. But there's a lot of pressures around all of this, all throughout the community. And for me, I've got to do what I believe is right, no matter what the outcome is.
It's like you're breaking the rules of the mafia club. Like you're part of the club and you're walking away from the club, without their... Christine's spoken out. How naughty.
Is.
I know. The club has been a councillor.
It's not anyone in particular. You just feel the pressure of... Yeah, I can't explain it, Duncan. I wish I could, but I can't do it. I've thought long and hard about where I stand, and unless something dramatic comes in that I don't understand, because boy, is this also really complicated. There's nothing straightforward.
It is. No way, and it's deliberately not straightforward. There's a reason for that. It's called interpretation. And we've seen this with legal documents. You've been in the public service. You know all about this. And this document has been written and you said this right at the start, this joint management, it's actually more powerful than co-governance.
Yes, I
joint
believe
management, day to day. It's almost like an iwi veto over almost everything. If you could get a lawyer to argue either side of this, but it's almost like an iwi veto on the big decisions of the area.
And so if that's right, tell the public that and let them have their say. Let them be part of this process.
Are you standing for mayor?
No. I've stood 3 times and they didn't want me, Duncan. And, everyone's lining up now and asking me, am I? No, I'm not. I'm now the Chief Executive of Hospice and I love it and I do good work every day and I'm proud to be here, but I'm standing for council, yes.
It's crucial that you do because there are other councillors with opinions like yours too, and they're starting to emerge, aren't they? But
yes,
if you had a vote today on whether this should go ahead or not, how would it go, do you reckon?
Absolutely not without consultation and the new council making the decision. This
needs to be put on hold.
That's where I stand. And I believe that other people stand in that place too. Why I feel the pressure not to say that when I would normally feel no pressure at all, I don't know. I can't explain it, and I'm certainly not saying anyone's rung me and said, don't you dare say that. It's not been anything like that. I just feel it.
In my role as journalist, I've at times had to come down and promote Taupo as a region and, commercially that sort of thing. And so I've got to know David Trove as the mayor casually and on a, lighthearted manner, and he was very welcome and everything. And I feel like the interview went like that. I feel like it was, hey, DG, mate, good to see you after all these years. Now, and that's all very well, but you know me too, and I'm nothing more than, I'm a journalist that asks questions, and I hold you to account. And I just couldn't, I looked at that interview back at it, I thought, this is a guy who hasn't taken it seriously enough. And this is a guy who may well be held to account over it. I think he's past his use by. I was going to say that as a commentator.
Well, look, I don't know what will happen now. I don't know how seriously people will take this, but certainly from the discussions around the district, the whole thing, including that kind of attitude, has been taken really seriously. But, people don't take local government seriously enough. We interfere in people's lives every day in the most fundamental ways, and they don't seem to get it. They don't vote, or they look at a photo in a book and think, oh, he looks all right, she looks all right. For goodness sake, go out and find what you're voting for. When I came to Taupo, every time I stood in Auckland, I topped the poll by thousands. I came to Taupo, they told me to go away with my big ideas and live in, where was it, Paikokariki. They didn't need me here. I was really shocked, Duncan. But
small town is tough.
That's what it was like. It's not like that now, but that's what it was like for me.
Yeah. No, I know. It's been the road that you've travelled is a brutal one, because you stand out and you say things. I mean, when was that a crime? A man could do this and he'd get away with it every day. Sadly, the way that we're set up in the society, it hasn't been that easy for you. But you've stayed the course, and now they really need you. So, Christine, I appreciate your time on the podcast. Good on you for standing up, speaking out. Sorry about the delay in getting to you.
No problem. You were sick. You take care.
I wasn't well. The health system's okay. Christine, thank you so much. Take care. We'll be in touch.
Bye-bye.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.
Christine Rankin. So you're in no doubt there what she thinks. What do you think? Do you think that Jacinda, just to go back to Jacinda, should she be back and fronting up to the COVID inquiry? It makes sense to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Prime Minister?
I mean, good on her. She's doing well overseas. Obviously, she's writing a book, and you can't deny the hustle and the she's got to that. Is it a bit strange that she kind of finished her term and then just left and hasn't come back? Yes. It doesn't exactly speak well for the, it doesn't exactly speak well for the state that she left the country in. But I mean, I feel like regardless, you've got to respect what she's doing at the moment. She's out there making her money, doing well for herself. She's got a kid, she's got a husband. Like she's doing well.
Not hard to come home though. How hard to come home and sit the chair of truth for a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bit strange.
Yeah, isn't it? Well, it's just in the first. That's us. Isaac, thank you for everything, mate. Good to be back. Nice to be back. Thanks for everyone's messages and support and so forth. Remember, life no dress rehearsal. We're living in it now. This is the bubble we live in, so make the most of it. Take care of yourselves, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. Take care, folks. Ta-da.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.